Good evening. This is the 14th meeting of the 72nd term of the Baltimore City Council is now called to order. Please turn off all cell phones or put them on vibrate. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Cheryl Rosa of Kingdom Restorers International. If everyone would please stand for the invocation and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. If we can all bow our heads, please. We come before you on tonight, giving you all the honor and all the glory, blessing you for the opportunity to come before this, hear your wise counsel. Your word says in Proverbs 11:14, where there is no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. We're asking today that you would give clarity, that you would give wisdom and understanding to this great council of people. From the 1st district all the way to the 14th district, we're asking for your wisdom, your knowledge and understanding on today. Let there be a refreshing of the desires for the city of Baltimore. Let there be even a more desire to love the city in which we serve. And let there be clarity spoken on today. Let there be unity that comes together on one accord today, that you would be magnified and glorified in this great place. We thank you and we bless you. We give you all the honor and all the glory. And let us all say amen.
Amen. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Rosa, thank you. I want to thank Pastor Rosa for the invocation. The clerk will call the roll of the members.
President Young, Cohen Scott, Henry Schleifer, Middleton Pinkett, Burnett Bullock, Reisinger, Costello Stokes, Snead Clark. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Before we have the showcase, I want to recognize Delegate Bilal Ali. Where is he? Welcome. He went down to Annapolis and started doing great work already. So we look forward to a long-lasting work relationship, Delegate Ali. This evening we welcome Ms. Ann Strine of Empower Retirement. This is very important, council people, so listen up. I'm a part of this. It's a great thing to be a part of.
Thank you, Mr. Young. My name's Ann Strine. I am with Empower Retirement. Hopefully you've all had a chance to talk to one of our retirement advisors to talk about the deferred compensation plan. I put a folder on your desk which is appropriate for when you were hired. So just to refresh very quickly, if you were hired prior to July 2014, you're in the traditional pension plan and you also have the opportunity to be in the 457 deferred comp plan. The 457 deferred comp plan is a pre-tax plan, meaning you pay yourself first before you pay the government and all their taxes. If you were hired after July 2014, you are eligible for what we call the hybrid or non-hybrid pension plan. That plan, you have 5 months in order to enroll. If you do not make an election, you are defaulted into the hybrid portion of the defined benefit plan. You are still eligible to participate in the 457 deferred comp plan. So I always have a lot of folks say, well, I already get the pension and I'm going to get Social Security. Why do I need to participate in a 457 plan? And the answer is economics. Between the pension plan and Social Security, you will take home about 70% of your current take-home pay. So if you take home $1,000 a month right now, could you live on $700 a month? If the answer is yes, then enjoy your retirement. But for most of us, we can't. And so that's where the 457 plan comes into play. It allows you to make up the difference between that 70% and the 90 to 100% so that when you retire, you can continue to live in the manner with which you have become accustomed. In addition, healthcare costs in retirement are going to eat up about 25% of your take-home pay. We all read the papers. We know healthcare costs are not going down. They're continuing to escalate. So being able to save now for your future is absolutely critical. Hopefully, you've all had the opportunity to participate. If you haven't, I've been giving you a brochure, and for anyone else out in the in the audience who works for the city, be happy to talk to you as well. We have 2 dedicated retirement plan counselors. All they do is talk to the participants and help them save for their retirement. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And I'm hoping that those council people who have not contacted them will contact them. It's a great program to be a part of, especially if you want to enjoy a good retirement. Make sure you go and sign up. It's a good program. I signed up in 1996 when I first got here. All right, thank you. It is the council custom to journalize the invocation. Act for a motion to journalize the prayer. Moved by Councilman Scott, second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of journalize the invocation say aye. Aye. All those opposed nay. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We now proceed with the adoption of the journal.
Mr. President, the journal of proceedings from the June 12th special and regular meetings of the City Council on the council members'
The
desk.
motion to approve the journal. Motion by Councilman Henry, second by Councilman Burnett. All those in favor of adopting the journal say aye. Aye. Those opposed nay. The motion carried. The journal is adopted. Bill signed by the mayor can be found on page 2 to 5 of the agenda. Executive nominations.
EA 17-0040, Rudolph Child, Director, Baltimore City Department of Public Works.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 17-0041, Leanna S. Wynn, Health Commissioner, Baltimore City Health Department.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 17-0042, Niles Ford, Fire Chief, Baltimore City Fire Department.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 17-0043, Steve Sharkey, Director, Baltimore City Department of General Services.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 17-0044, Reginald Moore, Director, Baltimore City Department of Recreation and Parks.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee.
EA 17-0045, Mary Talley, Director, Baltimore City Department of Human Resources.
This has been assigned to the Executive Appointments Committee. Bills to be introduced.
City Council Bill 17-0087, Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation, Fire Department, $6 million for the purpose of providing a Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation in the amount of $6 million to the Fire Department, Service 602 to provide funding for additional operating expenses and providing for a special effective date. Sponsored City Council President on behalf of Administration.
This has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee.
City Council Bill 17-0088, Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation, Police Department, $9 million for the purpose of providing a Supplementary General Fund Operating Appropriation in the amount of $9 million to the Police Department, Service 622 to provide funding for additional operating expenses and providing for a special effective date. Sponsored City Council President on behalf of Administration.
This has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee.
City Council Bill 17-0089, General Fund Appropriation Transfer, MR Debt Service to the Police Department, $9 million for the purpose of transferring a General Fund appropriation in the amount of $9 million from MR Debt Service to the Police Department and providing for a special effective date. Sponsored City Council President on behalf of Administration.
Has been assigned to the Budget and Appropriation Committee.
City Council Bill 17-0090, Baltimore City Landmark List, Exteriors Harry O. Wilson House for the purpose of designating the Harry O. Wilson House, 4423 Craddock Avenue as a historical landmark. Exterior. Sponsor Henry.
Chair recognizes Councilman Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Harry O. Wilson started out as a shoemaker, and he started selling insurance on the side. Eventually made so much money, he opened up his own bank, and later moved into real estate development and ended life as a philanthropist. 100 years ago this year, he purchased several acres of land and created Wilson Park, which is a historic African-American neighborhood in the 4th District. His house, 17 rooms that he built at the time, is now occupied by Mabel Smith, who's the former president of the historical Wilson Park neighborhood. And she agreed that in honor of the centennial of the neighborhood, this would be a good time to landmark his house. So I want to thank Councilman Bullock and the Commission on Historic and Architectural Preservation. We're going to try to move this through expeditiously and see if we can get this done this summer. So thank you.
Please add me as a co-sponsor. Councilman Stoke, co-sponsor. Any more co-sponsors? Councilman Pinkett, Councilman Slifer, Councilman Bullock, Councilwoman Clark, all council members. All right, thank you. All right. This has been assigned to the Housing and Urban Affairs Committee.
City Council Bill 17-0091, Zoning Conditional Use Parking Lot, 1904 Wilmington Avenue for the purpose of permitting, subject to certain conditions, the establishment, maintenance, and operation of a parking lot on the property known as 1904 Wilmington Avenue is outlined in red in the accompanying plat. Sponsor Reisinger.
This has been assigned to the Land Use and Transportation Committee. Resolution to be introduced.
City Council Resolution 17-0029R, request for city action supporting the Paris Accord for the purpose of recognizing the importance of the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, opposing the ill-advised decision to withdraw the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement, and committing to practices that disrupt short-sighted trends and consumption of natural resources and degradation of human health to create a livable, equitable, and just future for all Baltimoreans, regardless of age, race, income, or zip code. Sponsor Cohen, Costello, Clark, Schleifer, Henry, Middleton, Scott, Bullock, Pinkett, Burnett, Stokes, Dorsey, Reisinger.
Young.
President Young.
And Councilwoman Sneed is co-sponsor. Chair recognizes Councilman Cohen.
President, first off, thank you to Madam Mayor, who has been unflinching in her support of keeping Baltimore City aligned with the goals that we laid out in Paris. I also want to thank you, Mr. President. Not enough people know this, but you have been a consistent champion for our environment. Whether it was plastic bags, whether it was styrene, you have stood on the right side of history, and I appreciate your support as well. Grateful to all of my colleagues for their unanimous support for this resolution. The message that Baltimore is sending is clear. Regardless of who our president is, we will remain united toward a cleaner, greener environment. I used to teach in Curtis Bay. In Curtis Bay, there is an incinerator. The result is air quality that is very poor. I'm grateful to Councilman Reisinger, who's spoken about this, but we have too many children that have been poisoned by dioxins. We have too many families with abnormal cancer rates. Baltimore needs to be its own champion. President Trump is not going to take this city away from our goals. We are going to remain committed to Paris. And I want to say I'm incredibly grateful to Tamara and all of the advocates that helped write this legislation. This was truly a collaborative effort, and it recognized that we're in this together and that it's not a choice between a green future or jobs, that we can have both and that we should strive for both. We need a green economy. So I'm so grateful to the grassroots, the young people, to Tamara, to all the folks that stood up for this legislation, and I move to suspend the rules for immediate adoption.
Second by Councilman, both of y'all did it. Councilman Dorsey. All those in favor of suspending the rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Cohen.
I move the resolution.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of adopting resolution 17-0029R, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried, and this resolution is adopted.
City Council Resolution 17-0030R, request for state action. City Council Resolution 17-0030R, request for state action, reject the proposed sale of 2 buildings owned by Baltimore Clay Works, Inc. for the purpose of requesting that the Governor of Maryland and the members of the Board of Public Works of Maryland reject the proposed sale of 2 buildings owned by Baltimore Clay Works at 5706 and 5707 Smith Avenue in the Mount Washington community of Baltimore City to ensure that they remain a vital part of the larger Clay Works community and an asset for the citizens of Baltimore. Sponsor Schleifer, Dorsey, Cohen, Stokes, Clark.
Chair, please note Councilman Henry, co-sponsor. Any more co-sponsor? Chair recognizes Councilman Schleifer.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to recognize everybody who came down from Clay Works to support this resolution. So you guys can stand up and be recognized. You're on my thing over here. I'm stuck under the chair. But anyways, I want to thank all you guys for coming down today for this very important resolution, which is to call on the state to stop the sale of Clay Works. For those of you who don't know, Clay Works is not only a gem of the 5th District, it's a gem of the entire city, state, and really the country. And for those of you who don't know about Clay Works is a nonprofit centered focus around ceramic arts, founded in 1980. It promotes personal and professional ceramic exploration with classes for children and adults. This center is an important tool in bringing authentic and hands-on art experience to at-risk children and underserved adults, including satellite programs for inner-city neighborhoods, as well as classes and programs for local seniors. This sale of these buildings would force the closure of this nonprofit with no planned future, and we cannot afford to lose a nonprofit such as Clayworks, and that's why I call for scale, not sale. And they have two wonderful buildings in my district, and there are many alternatives to this sale. And when meeting with some people on both sides of this, I was told that a lot of that was not explored, and so that's what we're calling for. And so on that, I'd like to move to suspend the rules for immediate adoption.
Second by Councilman Dorsey. All those in favor of suspend the rules for immediate adoption of this resolution, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended. Chair recognizes Councilman Schleifer.
And I'd like to move the resolution forward.
Second by Councilman Dorsey. All those in favor of adopting resolution 17-0030R, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would like to move to suspend the appropriate rules so that I can introduce a council resolution from the floor.
Second by Councilman Henry. All those in favor of suspending rules to allow for the introduction of the City Council resolution, say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. The rules are suspended, and the resolution can be introduced and will be City Council Resolution 17-0031R. The clerk will read the resolution into the record.
City Council Resolution 17-0031R, Baltimore Crime Gun Intelligence Center. Resolution for the purpose of calling on the Baltimore Police Department to partner with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies to create a Baltimore Crime Gun Intelligence Center. Sponsor Scott.
Chair, please note Councilman Henry, co-sponsor. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, as we know, in the city of Baltimore, as we stand today, 160 people have been murdered in 2017, and I would like to ask Council Vice President Middleton to honor them with a moment of silence at the end of our meeting. We know that 90% of the homicides in our city are done with guns, and we know that our police department is doing a great job trying to trace down not just those people, but also those weapons that are used in the committing of those crimes. However, I think that what we saw recently with the Nibin van that the police department had here led us to see that there's technology out there and there's things out there that we could be doing a lot better as far as tracing down the guns, the perpetrators, and the bullets. Cities across the country, including Denver, Chicago, and Milwaukee, have created a crime gun intelligence center where they are partnering every day with all the local jurisdictions around them, the ATF, to trace down these bullets. Every single time a gun is fired in the city of Milwaukee, and it should be just like this in the city of Baltimore, we should be tracing down those bullets, whether someone gets hit or them or not. We should be making sure that they're not connected, connecting the dots to see who is actually committing these crimes, those trigger pullers, but also who's trafficking the guns, because we need to be prosecuting all of them, and that can only truly happen if we operate in a collaborative fashion and if we do that with the urgency that's needed. And the only way we can do that is to have everyone work together in partnership, and I look forward to having a hearing to hear from the police department on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been assigned to the Public Safety Committee. You can find the consent calendar in Section A at the back of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? Motion by Councilman Burnett, second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. This calendar is approved. Chair recognizes Councilman Schleifer.
Mr. President, I'd like to move to extend floor privileges to my special guests, Dr. Minkov and Dr. Friedman.
Second by Councilman Reisinger. All those in favor of extending floor privileges to Councilman Schleifer, guests say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Your guests may take the floor.
Mr. President, members of the council, and all guests, I'd like to present this resolution, but first I'd like to tell you a little bit about the cause. The Tour de Court is an annual biking basketball tournament held in Northwest Baltimore. It's been going on for about a little over 20 years. And this is the most premium basketball tournament and the most competitive basketball tournament probably in the United States, but certainly in Baltimore City, to the likes that even Councilman Scott has yet to qualify for this tournament. And so this tournament, the way it works is participants of this tournament bike from court to court and have 3-on-3 tournaments. This is all for a very special cause, which is to raise money for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And this group has raised well into the 6 figures for this cause and has done so in memory of Dr. Minkov's sister, Rachel Minkov. And the reason why I'm holding this helmet, because this is one of the 3 coveted helmets, is because in my first year last year in this tournament, I was actually on the championship team. So I get to carry the gold helmet from one year to the next. And being that this tournament is coming up in the next few weeks, I'm going to have to defend my title, so there's no guarantee that I'll still be holding it. So we took this opportunity to recognize this important group. So the resolution reads as follows. On behalf of Baltimore City and as a member of last year's gold helmet winning team, we'd like to acknowledge the entire Tour de Court family in recognition of over 2 decades of Baltimore's TDC and for raising over $100,000 for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society in memory of Rachel Minkov. There you go.
Thank you, Councilman. Congratulations. We now move the bills on second reader. Housing and Urban Affairs.
City Council Bill 17-0068, Waterfront Management District, Extension District for the purpose of extending the Waterfront Management District to encompass certain adjoining blocks, clarifying a description of certain properties accepted from the supplemental tax, making this ordinance subject to certain contingencies, providing for a special effective date, and generally relating to Waterfront Management District and Authority.
Chair recognizes Chairman Bullock.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The committee heard this bill on June 15th, 2017. There are amendments on your desk. I move the amendments favorable.
Second by Councilman Cohen. All those in favor of approving these amendments say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion approved. Bill is amended. Chair recognizes Councilman Bullock.
Thank you. I move the bill favorable.
Second by Councilman Cohen. Chairman Cohen. All those in favor of approving this amendment say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion approved. This bill moves to third reader. Land Use and Transportation.
City Council Bill 17-0027, bus lanes and stops, prohibited parking for the purpose of allowing the Director of Transportation to designate bus lanes and bus stops on city streets, prohibiting parking in designated bus lanes and stops, allowing for the towing of vehicles and properly marked and designated bus lanes and stops, setting certain penalties, clarifying and conforming related provisions, and generally relating to bus lanes and bus stops.
Chair recognizes Chairman Reisinger.
Mr. President, this was a good hearing. There's an amendment to this bill. It's on my colleague's desk. I move the amendment.
Second by Councilman Dorsey. All those in favor of approving these amendments say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion approved. This bill is amended. Chair recognizes Chairman Reisinger.
Mr. President, I move the bill favorable as amended.
Second by Councilman Dorsey. All those in favor of approving this bill say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. This motion is approved. Who said no? Please note that Councilman Pinkett is a no. Is a no. This bill moves to third reader. Third reader for final passage.
City Council Bill 17-0049, Plant New Development Designation Overlook at Roland Park for the purpose of approving the application of Blue Ocean Realty, contract purchaser of certain property located at Ward 27, Section 15, Block 4820E, Lot 021, to have that property designated a residential plant unit development and approving the development plan submitted by the applicant. President Young, Cohen, Scott, Dorsey, Henry, Schleifer, Middleton, Pinkett, Burnett, Bullock, Reisinger, Costello, Stokes, Snead, Clark.
This bill is approved. Committee announcement. Chair recognizes Councilman Stokes. Please note that Councilwoman Clark abstained on the Plan Unit Development of Overlook at Rolling Park. I'm sorry. I should have remembered that. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. There will be an executive appointments hearing on Wednesday, July the 19th for Reginald Moore, Director of Recreation and Parks at 10 a.m. here in the council chambers. There also will be another executive appointments hearing, public hearing on July the 19th at 10 a.m. for Mary Talley, Director of Department of Human Resources. Also, there will be an executive appointments hearing on Wednesday, July the 26th at 10 a.m. for Steve Sharkey, Director of General Services. There also will be an executive appointment on July the 26th on a Wednesday for Ms. Lena Winnie, Commissioner of the Health Department. There will be executive appointments on Wednesday, August the 9th for Niles Ford, Chief of the Fire Department. And there will be an executive appointments hearing, public hearing on Wednesday, August the 9th for Rudy Child, Director of Public Works. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Committee Chair recognizes Chairman, boy, I'm losing it today, Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Budget and Appropriations Committee will hold a hearing on Monday, June 26th at 10 a.m. in Chambers. It's for Council Bill 17-0067, Supplementary State Fund Operating Appropriation for State's Attorney in the amount of $1,190,562. I remind my colleagues that this is for a grant. The following three hearings that I'm going to announce are part of our agreement with the administration to expeditiously hear closeout for fiscal 2017. All three hearings will be on Monday, June 26th. Mr. President, I move for suspension of rules 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Councilwoman Snead. All those in favor of suspend rules and announce a hearing say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chairman Costello, you may proceed.
Budget and Appropriations Committee will hold a hearing on 17-0087 on Monday, June 26th at 10 a.m. in Chambers. This is a supplementary general fund operating appropriation for the fire department in the amount of $6 million, and that's Bill 17-0087. Mr. President, I move for suspension of rules 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Councilman Stokes. All those in favor of suspend rules to announce a hearing say aye. All opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chairman Costello, you may proceed.
Mr. President, Budget and Appropriations Committee will hold a hearing on 17-0088 on Monday, June 26th at 10 a.m. in Chambers. This is a supplementary general fund operating appropriation for the police department in the amount of $9 million. Mr. President, move to suspend rules 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of suspend rules and announce a hearing say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chairman Costello, you may proceed.
Budget and Appropriations Committee will hold a hearing on Bill 17-0089 on Monday, June 26th at 10 a.m. This is General Fund Appropriation Transfer, Mayoralty Related from Debt Service, Service 123, General Debt Service, to the Police Department, Service 622, Police Patrol, in the amount of $9 million. Mr. President, I move for suspension of Rule 10-2 to announce a hearing.
Second by Councilman Scott. All those in favor of suspend the rules and announce a hearing say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion carried. Chairman Costello, you may proceed.
Judiciary and Legislative Investigations Committee will hold a hearing on 17-0078, private streets, naming an unnamed 190-foot street located in the vicinity of 301 East Cromwell Street as Rye Street, introduced by Councilman Costello on Tuesday, June 20th at 10:30. The Judiciary and Legislative Investigations Committee will hold a hearing on 17-0069 on Tuesday, June 20th at 10:35 a.m. This is city property renaming John Eager Howard Elementary School to Dorothy I. Height Elementary School at the request of Councilman Pinkett. Judiciary and Legislative Investigation Committee will hold a hearing on 17-0064 on Tuesday, June 20th at 10:40 a.m. This is Commemorative Days, Henrietta Lacks Day, at the request of Councilwoman Snead. Judiciary and Legislative Investigations Committee will hold a hearing on Bill 17-0034, Tuesday, June 20th at 10:45 a.m. This is Metropolitan District of Baltimore County, Extension 165, at the request of Council President Young on behalf of the administration. Judiciary and Legislative Investigations Committee will hold a hearing on Bill 17-0019, Tuesday, June 20th at 10:50 a.m. Remind my colleagues that we were just reconvening, and this is for bike lanes, increased parking penalties at the request of Councilman Costello. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any more committee announcements? Chair recognizes Chairman Bullock. You have one, Councilwoman? Okay. You have
Thank you, Mr. President. On Monday, June 26th, the Housing Urban Affairs Committee will be hearing 170024R, which is the upkeep and maintenance of vacant lots and public green spaces. And that will be at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. here in council chambers on the 26th. The committee is also canceling 2 hearings scheduled for June 29th. They will be rescheduled for a later date. Those are 170077, repeal of Rosemont Urban Renewal Area and Plan, as well as 170076, Urban Renewal, Coldstream, Homestead, Montebello Amendment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Chairwoman Snead.
Thank you. The Labor Committee will hold a legislative oversight hearing on Thursday, July 6, 2017 at 1 p.m. in the council chambers for the purpose of inviting pertinent agency representatives to come before the committee to discuss the feasibility of utilizing in-house staff such as engineers, architects, and other licensed professionals instead of relying on the external or non-staff facilities. We're also holding the Labor Committee will hold a legislative oversight hearing on Wednesday, June 28th, 2017 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. This is for the purpose of investigating 911 operations, working conditions of 911 operations, and possible solutions to improve the system and its environment. The hearing will be televised on Channel 25. Sorry.
In the future, hold the mic up because they can't really hear you.
Sorry.
Thank you. I was looking at my staff and wondering why they wasn't saying something to you. Chair recognizes Chairman Scott.
Thank you,
Put
Mr.
the
President.
mic's like up to your mouth.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, on Monday, July 10th, the Public Safety Committee will reconvene for Bill number 17-002R, which is a hearing about the transformational zones. That will be 5 p.m. here in the council chambers. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Chairman Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Wednesday, July 26th, the Education and Youth Committee will hold a legislative oversight hearing for the purpose of developing and revising our committee's agenda concerning the welfare of city schools and kids in Baltimore. I want to thank Vice Chairwoman Mary Pat Clark, who advocated for this hearing. I think that it's a great idea to get our whole committee on the same page. So I'm really grateful for your leadership. And for the committee, it's been a tough year for kids in Baltimore, but I'm proud that you, Mr. President, and this whole council has stood very strong for our children.
Thank you. Any more announcements? All right, regular announcements. First, I would like to wish Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark a happy birthday. Her birthday is June the 22nd. And while they clapping, I didn't notice, Councilwoman Clark, I noticed they didn't call no hearings on June the 22nd, but yet they call hearings on June the 26th, which is my birthday. How dare y'all? Okay, I have a, that's okay. But Shannon, Chairwoman Shannon Snead and I was at school headquarters today to fight for a principal of Fort Worthington School. Now, here's a principal that really got the kids engaged. The children began to see a male figure, because we don't have that many males in our school system. And they really bonded with this principal. He was able to forge lots of partnerships, the churches, the business, and the likes. They built a new school. And upon building the new school, they had no intentions on letting him be the principal of that school. They said it wasn't test scores that caused this decision to be made, yet they moved another school into that school that had low test scores, and that's what they held him accountable for. A good principal, and the school system is supposed to be a community school. Did not listen to the community, did not engage the community in the selection process of the principal. So my question is, are these really community schools when the community had no input in the selection of the principal? They already knew who the principal was going to be, and once the community found out, they said, oh, we're going to look at resumes. We're going to look at resumes for, and you already offered someone the principal's job. This is the kind of stuff that goes on in our school system that really frustrates me, it frustrates parents, and it frustrates community people. I mean, you know, this is not the way things are supposed to operate. And I am really, really concerned about our school system, especially when they don't listen to the community in which these kids are attending these schools. You can't hold a principal accountable unless he can pick his entire staff. When North Avenue send these teachers there, it's North Avenue's responsibility, not the principal, because he didn't pick the staff. I think that if you're going to allow a principal to be a principal, he should be able to build his team. And I just wanted to say that so the chair of the education committee could know that we need to start bringing these CEO of the school system and these people who are making these decisions, who half of their kids are not in our system. They are not in our system, and I feel that they're not vested in our system. If you vest it, put your children in it. And that's the way I feel about the school system. They talking about low enrollment in our schools. Then we can fix that. Put your children in our school system, because if it's good enough for our children, it should be good enough for yours. Thank you. Any more announcements? Chair recognizes Councilman Dorsey.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I just want to give another thanks to everybody who came out about Baltimore Clay Works today. They demonstrated something that I campaigned on. You know, if you look back at my campaign website or whatever, it had 3 sections to it: the district, the city, and the arts. And that was with an understanding that the arts is a community in Baltimore is one that reaches beyond geographic bounds, socioeconomic bounds, race bounds, and one that, if brought together, has the capacity to make significant impacts in Baltimore City, including public policy and other concerns in communities. So I want to, thank you all for actually organizing. I know I got emails from all over the greater Baltimore area, not just Baltimore City. Baltimore Clay Works serves, I don't know, I got at least one email from Essex. And with that in mind, there's an exhibit that's closing at one place and moving to another place, both in Councilman Stokes' 12th District, Undesign the Red Line, an exhibit of art that examines the history of racial segregation and structural barriers through housing as far back as the 1930s. And this is an exhibit where art directly confronts social change and the history that got us to where we are as a city today in Baltimore. And there is an opening reception, including a panel discussion on June 27th at Gallery CA at the corner of Oliver Street and Greenmount in the Greenmount West neighborhood, where this exhibit moves from the Impact Hub on North Avenue, where it will be until the day prior to that. So, and that will be up from June 27th to July 9th at Gallery CA in the City Arts Building. I hope all will go out and check it out. Thank you, Mr. Council President and colleagues.
Any more announcements? Chair recognizes Councilman Costello. Councilman, I'm still upset about the school system stuff. I mean, I just can't wrap my mind around that. And it had me a little disturbed all day.
Mr. President, that's actually why I'm standing to speak, and I appreciate what the frustration that you and Councilwoman Sneed have. There's a school in my district, Francis Scott Key Elementary Middle School. We have an extremely well-engaged community around that school, as well as parents. And I was on an email with the 46th delegation over the weekend, in which the 2 co-chairs of the PTO requested to be included in the process with city schools, and they were told, quote, after being told that they were not going to be included to the extent they requested, They were told, quote, "We appreciate your feedback and suggestions, but the district will have to move forward in the best interest of FSK students and families." I don't understand who has more of an interest in the students and families than the PTO. I'm just beside myself over that. It's a continuation of how this school district views engagement from the community. They don't seem to value it, and I don't understand why. We have a mayor that has been extremely committed to the school system. We have a council that is extremely dedicated to the school system. And when elected officials in this city, as well as a General Assembly, by the way, and when elected officials in this city reach out to the school system and say it's important to engage with the community, they're just blown off. And I can't seem to understand why. I'm hopeful that that is going to change under Dr. Santelisa's leadership. We have not seen that change to the extent that it needs to change. And I'm hoping that North Avenue will pay attention moving forward. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. If not, Chairman, you know the part of the money that the city is responsible for? We're going to hold them accountable for it. Chair recognizes Councilman Scott.
Mr. President, on a lighter note, I rise to say that if the councilman from the 5th District would like to play one-on-one for charity, he's welcome to see me anytime. Thank you.
The murders. He already announced. Okay. Councilwoman Clark.
Mr. President, members of the council, I'm inspired by your upset to add something in the area of community and schools that I think should be an agenda item here in this council, because it is with a number of council members, myself included. And it's not a secret from North Avenue either. We're building new schools, and I'm so glad that we are. It's about time, and I think that North Avenue is moving along, involving the community in that effort. And part of the effort we undertook at Waverly School when we were designing that with everyone was that we were losing a recreation center, because when the old school came down, part of the old school was a rec center. And so when that came down, there was no more rec center. We knew that was going to happen. We wished it didn't, but it was going to. So what we did was join with the architects and with the North Avenue and say, okay, at one end of this new building, we'll have a large community room with a stage, and they use it as a cafeteria during school, but it's big enough to have a lot of people meeting and doing activities and even having shows. On the other end of the school, we'll have a large gymnasium, and it is beautiful. And we said we want a way that those two ends of the school can be separated from the school proper, so that the community can use those spaces, and we can use them for local teams and the like, and activities without going all through the school and being a nuisance there and a problem. Well, the school was designed that way. It's supposed to operate that way, but really there is no way to get around, so far, the long requirements every time the Waverly Improvement Association, for example, wants to use the cafeteria building wing for a meeting of the Waverly Improvement Association. We're not talking about something extraordinary. We're talking about the local community being able to walk in and use it. Now, what I'm taking issue with are policies, not people. Policies that say you have to go through this procedure every single time you want to use one of these spaces we designed to substitute for a rec center, which had wide open doors, and we secured it. We made sure that you couldn't just run rampant through the entire school by using this space. One example. We're losing recreation as we're gaining these new schools in some cases. We can find ways to substitute, but not if Rec and Parks does not work directly with the school system and us to let us use our schools, not just when school's in session, but when kids are out and need the space for their own recreation and diversion. And we sure need it in Waverly, and I'm sure that's true in other neighborhoods where this is happening. So I take all this time to lay this on the floor because I've spoken to the CEO of the school system about the issue and many others. And this summer, I, for one, am going to be working with the school system to try to relax these rules, open the doors, and let these spaces be used, or else don't design any more new schools that eliminate recreation centers. Thank you.
Councilwoman Clark, they're supposed to have a memorandum of understanding with Rex and Parks, and the new Rex and Parks director will sit down with the CEO of the schools. And what we have told them, even in budget hearings, that these buildings belong to the city. They're our buildings. And because the school system is separate now, and they have their own board and their own CEO, we don't have too much, authority over them. But once the mayor gets to appoint the board members, maybe we'll have a little more say in how we are able to use these buildings. Because what I've said to the CEO and I said to the people who are doing the 21st century schools, these are supposed to be community schools. And we want them open. We want Rex and Parks and the school system to work together to separate from the school so that we won't have vandalism in the school and we can get our kids engaged in positive programs. They talk about all the negative things our kids do, open up our schools, But some principals think that the schools belongs to them. And it's not always North Avenue. Some of these principals, when they close the school, it's my school, and they go home to whatever county they live in, where their kids have activities. Yeah, I'm saying it, because it's unfair to us as a council and to the citizens of Baltimore that we have these school buildings and we can't use them. It's just criminal as far as I'm concerned. Chair recognizes Vice President Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. And before we move on, as you recognize Councilwoman Clark for her early birthday, we'd like to also formally recognize you for your birthday on June 26th. So happy birthday from the council.
Thank you. Oh, Madam Vice President, before we adjourn, we have one of our commissioners here that have joined us. Today, she's a commissioner at large. Ms. Henry, let's give her a hand.
Congratulations.
I kept looking at her. I said, now she looked like she might be Bill's daughter, but I'm not sure.
The next meeting of the City Council will be held on Monday, July 17th, 2017, and we like to request a moment of silence for the victims and family members and loved ones for the 160 deaths. That's the number, unfortunately, that we have reached to at this point. So prayers to all of those family members.
Thank you. There being no further business, this concludes the 14th meeting of the 72nd term of the Baltimore City Council. Good night.